What's up? What's up, bitches? Welcome back to another episode of Positively Uncensored, part two of what I'm calling the informal reunion that Netflix didn't give Surviving Paradise cast. Today I'm with Justin and Aaron, and I'm super excited you guys are here. Welcome.
Pleasure to be here,
Stoked to
especially
be
with my
here.
boy.
Yeah.
Here with my
See
boy. It
Major
would
in the
happen no other
house.
way.
How we doing?
Oh my God, I'm like, we have like a Lodge going on. Like, you guys are A and J of the original Taj, and I can be the L. We can just make up our own team.
There you go. Surviving Paradise
Raj.
season two,
Yeah.
starting right now.
There we go.
Exactly.
Exactly. You
Before
our
I
fearless
forget,
leader. Lead us into battle.
yay, I love that. L for Leah, L for leader. I'll take it. Um, Before I forget, everybody follow them on socials. So it's Justin Asada, like ass, and then ADA, and then
There you
it's
go.
Aaron Blake with two A's.
Yep. Hey,
Every
Ron.
time you say your name, do you always think AA Ron just because of the like skit? Because
Well,
I
it was
always see
wild.
AA Ron.
Yeah, it's wild because like Aaron comes up, but my middle name's also Blake. So it was just the most bizarre thing when that video came out. I was like, there's no way that just happened. For the rest of my life, that was just Aaron Balake. I was like, for the
Oh
whole
yeah,
thing now.
Balake. I forgot about
I was
Balake.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
wait, I forgot about that.
Everybody remembers Aaron. Nobody remembers Balake, but I remember. Trust me.
You remember because I get it. It's right there for you. Okay, so thank you guys for both joining me. Um, I always start by asking my guest what their favorite reality show is, but I feel like I'm not sure if you guys are buffs or not. So have you watched before you went on a show?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch a ton of reality TV before Surviving Paradise, but my siblings love the challenge. And so if
Ooh,
I had to pick one, I'd say that's probably because I'm a very like I'm an active person. So I
yes.
always imagine myself if I was on reality TV, it would be something like that. And I guess we kind of got like no, I wouldn't say it was the challenge, but we got like a taste of like I guess challenges that like I was excited about, but I would have loved to do something a little bit more physical like that.
I love to hear that. Okay, cool. What about you, Aaron? Justin, sorry.
Don't worry, it happens all the time.
Well, I'm looking at the
No,
names too. Like,
I'm not like saying I'm not a crazy reality TV buff, but the funny thing is my sisters are super into it. Like Bravo TV, Real Housewives, like Above Deck or Below Deck. See, I told you I'm not a big one. But the funniest thing is my big one was, and the thing that got me kickstarted on reality TV is I used to watch Are You the One with my ex-girlfriend.
oh yeah,
And
love.
yeah, funny enough, like she was like, you would kill it on this show back in college. So I'm like, yeah, let me apply. And I got to the final round and she was like, you're not going on, bud. So, but that parlayed into this. We'll get into it, but that's
You're
like the crazy
messy.
thing.
Not you being messy. You're like the story where like at the end, the guy's like, he had a girlfriend before he came on and he left her just to do the show. Like that would have been you. You'd be like,
Well, I was
hey.
going into the final round, right? And I'm like, looking at her. We both love the
It
show,
could
and
be
she's like,
good.
"Hey, going into the final round, like, what do we
We
think?" You
breaking
know?
up? Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, we do that. We're done." So, oh well. But everything
This
happens
is
for a reason. Like I said,
everything. This
I'll
is
get into it
everything.
later. But no, that was literally the start to get on Surviving Paradise. So
The network,
everything
right?
happens
Like
for a
just
reason.
networking with everyone.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
cool.
So
So I'm going to get to that in a second because I definitely want to know how you guys were casted. And I feel like that has something to do with your origin story. But before I go
Mhm.
there, you guys both mentioned, I think, sisters. And when I had Alex on, I dove in a little bit to his family. Tell me about where you guys are from. Tell me just like a little bit about yourself that we didn't get to know on the show, if you don't mind.
Yeah, shoot, brother.
Yeah, you first, Justin.
oh,
That's
yeah, I'll
fine.
start it off this time. Yeah, I know because for whatever reason they didn't give us intros. They only gave a select few of us intros on the
What
show,
is
which was
that?
kind of unfortunate, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I'm Justin, obviously. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. Spent my time basically in it, like I used to live in the city. Now I'm homeless now, but was on Cape Cod too. I don't know if you're familiar with Massachusetts, but it's the beachy area. I'm very much like a surfer, skatey type guy. Spent a lot of time out in California, Charleston, South Carolina. Good waves, good swell. But in terms of family, like Love family. Family's everything to me. Older brother, twin sister, and a younger sister. So
Oh my God, super interesting. So like coastal
yeah,
guy, close-knit family. I forgot. I lived in Newport Beach for like 4 years. I just came back. I'm on the East Coast now. But all the surfers called it the funniest thing, and I wish I could remember it. They'd be like, dude, we gotta get out there. Like the swells are like it would be something
swells,
so
baby.
funny. Like it'd be like the swells are bit, and I'd be like, yeah, you go in there because I'm not. Like I'll live vicariously. um, for you guys. But okay, so that's really cool. So you have a twin sister. What's her name? Let's plug her.
Should I plug? I don't know if I can. I don't know if she wants me to,
Okay, yeah,
because
if
I don't
she
know if she
doesn't want to
wants
be
to.
plugged, then don't do it. But like,
Yeah,
you
no,
know, if she was like a kid, the Kim of the family, obviously we have to give her her shine.
no, that's me, baby. I'm the Kim.
I love
My
it.
sister, my family is like very much behind the scenes, like not too much out there. And then I'm like the dickhead who, just like wants the spotlight at all times. So there you
I
go.
love
That's
it.
me.
And you
Before I
got it.
move, before I move to Aaron, what's your sign?
Oh, Sagittarius, big Sag.
Okay,
Couldn't tell you
cool.
anything about it though.
I'm a Sagittarius rising, and all I know is that we're the life of the party. That's what I get told. So that's all I know. Okay, Aaron, your turn. I want to hear about you.
All right, yeah. Like Justin said, it's wild because like our stories are why certain people connected. So it's kind of crazy that wasn't in the show. You have no real like foundation of why people connected other than like a few lines. But we were very similar, like brother and sister from a small town called Beaumont, Texas. I live in Dallas now. But always been like a super active dude. Like I like to run a lot. I do like Spartan races and like have marathons and things like that. I love to be active, which is why I was super excited about this show being like challenge oriented from what they told us. Because like I just grew up like my mom's a marathon runner, and so that's like a real big way that we bonded. And I know I talk about my dad later in the show, but that was a huge thing in my profile. Family's like everything to me. Like I meant it from like the very start, and I said in my profile, if I would have won, they would have 100% went towards them. Like there's nothing more important to me. Like I'm a pretty simple guy. I can live on rice and beans for like however long we were there. I don't need much. So family to me is like you really just can't beat that, you know. And good friends, of course, like the ones I met on the cast.
You're such a good person. I've heard it echoed from Eva, I've heard it echoed from Alex, but you can really tell, like on the show, that family is first. Like, although we don't get to see much of you, you can tell that you're loyal to your family. I felt like you were super genuine. I'll get to this later, but like, unlike Gabe, I really felt like you would use your money, like, for what you said. So, yeah, I'm gonna say that because it's just how I feel. I may just
Thank
tell.
you so much. I
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
But going back to you, because you're important here, I could tell that you were authentic, you're a family guy, and I've heard that echoed by your castmates. So I'm like glad to be able to give you guys your flowers and hear more about you and give you the shine that the show didn't, because as you said, that was unfortunate. I was dying to hear about you guys, and I felt like a lot of your stories were probably cut because how could you not all be talking and, growing closer there? So, this is the opportunity that I was glad to have and then share with others so that they can kind of get to know all of you too.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't even.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that's just so makes me emotional. I appreciate that because with
Um,
that little bit of like time that we all got, like it resonated enough with you to want to give us this platform. So I appreciate that.
that's what I was most excited about. I was like, hopefully somebody sees my TikTok and lets me talk with them because I'm dying for this show and I'm dying for all these people. So let's go into casting. How were you casted? Was anybody found on Hinge? Anything sketchy done like what happened with Kelso? Like, give me the tea.
Uh,
Cool.
Fair. So for me, similar to what Justin kind of said, I started making TikToks a few years ago, and as like that grew, I think when I got around like 50K or so, I started getting reached out to by like different producers and different shows, and completely separate from Netflix. So I'll talk about this. I was this close to being on The Bachelorette for Michelle's season. I was like right there, but like Justin, I had just started talking to someone. So like in the
Are you
middle of the
kidding me?
process, yeah, in the middle of the
I didn't know
process,
that.
yeah. So it was like once I got the final like just sign this and you're going out to do the thing. I was just like But then right around that time, it was also crazy. But right around that time, a Netflix show reached out and they were like, "Would you want to do this?" And it was like not dating related, and I was super excited about it. So I took that, pulled the trigger there, ended up not on it, so that sucked. But then come last year, reached out to us about Surviving Paradise, or what we would know it as Jet Set, and yeah, then I got on, and then now we're here.
Okay, wait, I have to comment first. I love the tea that it was called Jet Set. I was dying to know what it was called because I applied for a show and then I stopped applying. I got like nervous. I applied for a show and it was like Million Dollar Island. And I was like, no way in fuck is that what this really is. Like, I'm gonna get there and it's gonna be something total, but I'm glad to know that. And then second of all, you would have made it all the way in Michelle's season. I'm telling you right now, your competition, like you would
Hands
messenger
down.
like
Hands down.
you would have made it so far. I hope to see you. I would die for you on the back. I would die for you as bachelor, like but
Leah,
I'll,
you're.
I'll manifest it. That's all I can do.
I feel like my ego has been raised farther than I would have ever imagined
It
from
needs
just
to
like
be. It
10
needs to
minutes.
be.
I
That's
appreciate
it.
that.
That's
It
what I'm
needs
here
to be.
for. I hype people up. Okay, so Justin, what's your story? That was so cool. Thank you so much, Aaron. I love hearing
Yeah,
that.
of course.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know about The Bachelor. Dude, what? That's crazy. Of
Yeah, it
course, you're
was
still with that
crazy.
girl too, right? Still dating her?
No, no.
He was
Similar.
That's
worth
another
it.
Hey,
story.
that
That's
parlays
another
right into
story.
this, right? But I told you about I auditioned for Are You the One, and then I just completely ghosted the final interview. They probably hated me for that. And then sitting in bed, I'm living in Charleston, South Carolina, with my ex-girlfriend at the time too. And a show reached out, and actually it was a casting producer. He texted me and was like, "Hey, is this Justin? This is so and so. Got your casting information from Are You the One? Like, what happened there? Like." So I had to go into detail about that. He's like, "Well, we think you'd be, a good fit to try out for this show." And then went for that show. Um, Funny enough, I was with my ex girlfriend at the time, and I was super anxious going into it. Right? I don't know why. And so I was just chugging vodka, just like taking shots of like that
Yeah.
weird Russian vodka.
Uh-huh.
Went on the audition, absolutely shit faced. Was hilarious, but couldn't put
Yeah,
a
they probably
sentence
loved
together.
you.
They did, but they were like, yeah, this kid's too much, and ended up not getting it. And then all of a sudden, the same producer reached out and he's like, dude, don't worry. There's this new show called Jet Set. It's coming out, and you'd be a great fit for it. So I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do it. And that's how it started. And they were like, do you love luxury? Like, do you love like the finer things in life? And like, here I am, I'm broke as shit at the time, and I'm eating ramen and like hot pockets. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, get me on Jet Set. So,
You're like,
but
fuck yeah, I'm fucking so luxurious.
I'm like, oh yeah, I know. I'm like, dude, hell yeah. So it was super funny. And then I watched the last episode. Alex didn't talk about it much, but the funniest thing is, and Aaron can attest to this, it's like 2020, or yeah, what is it, 2020, 2021? And
Mm, yeah.
they were like, yeah, you got it, dude. Like, you're on, and you killed it. And just wait for that next email, or wait for that next phone call. And that next phone call didn't come for what, almost a year, like a year later. So because it was put off because of COVID and
Oh,
restrictions and things of that sort. So then
Right.
they finally reached back out, like
Oh,
however long
gee.
later. Yeah, they just like had to check that we were the same people. And then like I remember one of the producers being like, "Yeah, your hair got longer." I'm like, "Yeah, it's been a year." So
go figure.
Do you know that they were like calling people to make sure that they like didn't gain a bunch of like COVID weight? Like, are they still like super hot to put on TV? I'm probably gonna cut this part out, but I'm
exactly.
saying that to you guys. Like, that's that you know that that's what they were probably doing.
No, they literally did. They did. They were like, I was checking to see you haven't put on any like weight or anything like that, or you hadn't gotten
Yes.
bald. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still like you?
Is he
Yeah.
still
Like,
Yeah.
rugged Ken
do you
or is
like what you
he
see?
something
Like, what's
else?
Right. Okay. So this is fun. So you guys, so you're basically both were like sought out by another show. They were interested in you, and then you ended up here. Did you like, because Alex said that he kind of pitched himself to like seem luxurious and like that, and then when he ended up at the nice hotel, he was like, yeah, of course I got here. Did you guys stay at the same hotel? Like the day one people, were you all at the nice place during sequester or whatever?
No.
Oh,
No,
No,
we weren't.
absolutely not. No.
No.
I'm
That's why I think
so
they got the
sad
nice
for you.
hotels because they were saying that. They're like, dude, come out here. I'm like, they're like, are you all right with like, I'm like, dude, put me in a Yeah. So I think they like really took that to heart and they put me in some shitty hotel.
Damn, you see, that's where you should have like totally kept going with what you were saying. Ignore the hot pockets. Like I'm king, 5 stars or nothing. And
But
I'll
it
be
did have
there.
its benefits. I remember my hotel wasn't that nice, but it was downtown. And so like that was the
Ooh.
thing. So you had like an hour or two like outside. And so like Aaron, you were not to speak for you, but you were kind of like in the middle of like rural Greece. And I
Oh
was
yeah,
in
like
like
I was like
downtown Lefkada.
I don't even have much to say about mine. Like the people were really it was like small owned apart hotel thing. And it was really nice, like the people, but nothing. I mean, there was nothing for me to do. I wouldn't call it luxurious. I wouldn't call it like terrible. It was
Right.
just in the middle, like you said, rural nowhere. I would go like on runs, like almost getting ran over by like cars because like the streets are like super narrow. So definitely didn't live in the, but I didn't pitch myself that way either. I was like, put like Justin, put me anywhere. I'm just happy to
Yes.
be here.
Yes, I get that. Just like grateful to be chosen. It's been a year since I thought that this show was going to be done. I get that.
Spot on, spot on.
You know
Is
what
it
they definitely chose like who had they looked at who brought how many bags and that's what it was. That's my
They saw
interpretation.
Alex and SK, and they were like, "Oh, put
Yeah.
them somewhere
guest
else."
Yeah.
room?
No, literally.
That's actually so smart. And if I do ever get casted, I'm gonna bring a fuck ton of bags, even if just in it is like my food that I like
Yep,
enjoy the most. That's what I'm gonna
or
do.
nothing. Just bring the bags.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Like,
Yeah, just
oh
bring
yeah,
the
it's
have
bag.
it.
light.
It's all for
Yeah, like
show.
all my stuff's light. Sorry.
Hey
Um,
bellboy, yeah.
yeah. Can you carry this? It's like nothing.
Yes.
Um, is it like so other shows I've talked to, sometimes it's isolating, like when you do your like sequester before you get on the show, to the point where like by the time you get there, your mind is already kind of like a little bit malleable. Was it easy, like, or did it kind of like take you aback just being thrown into the process?
So for me, it's interesting because I would say that I probably handle most things like that pretty well. Like I don't really mind isolation, especially like being a computer science major. I spent so many hours like in school just by myself. We were a really small department, so like I sometimes I even work better that way. What sucked was, like I said, my experience for the other show that I never got into. That is the only thing that stayed in my head. I was like, is this gonna happen again? I was like, am I gonna fly back home and like just sit here for another like X amount of days? That was probably the most grueling thing for me. Because you don't know till you know on these shows, right?
Yeah,
Other than that, I thought it was pretty chill. It's very calming. You don't get that a lot when you're home, so it's kind of nice to get that peace. Not if you feel like you might not end up on it. That part can suck.
that makes sense. You're so like security on the show. If you have it, easy chilling. If not,
Yep.
I get that. What about
Yeah,
for
and
you, Justin?
I don't want to air too much about the audition process out, but the craziest part about it was they had told us going out there that auditions like weren't over still, that they were going to fly us out and auditions would continue. So it would be like the
Mhm.
final interview. So I think we had a quarantine for I don't know. They gave us like a burner phone that we could like, but there was a VPN, so we couldn't access social media. You could talk to people on WhatsApp, and that was about it. So I just watched like fucking like YouTube videos on like little like I don't even know. It was like Filipino men like building small huts and stuff like that and pools. It was crazy. But no, if they're on YouTube, they're crazy. They build like these oases. It's unbelievable. But then
I
I'm
feel
in
like
there
I
to do my
haven't seen
final
that, but I
interview.
should.
I haven't.
Sorry.
crazy. And then at the same time too, like the TV didn't even work. It was nuts. But we do our final interview, and I remember I went back to my mom and I was like, I'm not gonna get it. Like the interview went shit. Like I just wasn't myself. I just kind of I told Aaron about this too. Like wasn't myself. Was way too over the top. And my mom, like in Swedish, she's like biggest Boston accent. She's like, Justin, it's okay, sweetie. Come home. It's not for everybody. Like this is fine. You'll come home. You'll get a job, work. And then all of a sudden, I got the call after, and they told me I was going to be in the first wave. So, but the funniest thing is, and I'll end it here. I'm rambling. Me and Aaron talk about our interview and our initial interview, and before the show, like how everything was going to come out. Well, you know, like I'm thinking that I need to get on this show. I need to bring the energy. So they're like, they asked me, they're like, all right, Justin, explain yourself. Like, who are you? I'm like, I'm Justin. I'm 6'4", 215 pounds of muscle, steel, and sex appeal. And so
Holy
I,
shit.
and so then after we're talking about the initial interview and how it all went, right? And I'm like, bro, mine's gonna be so douchey. Like I fucking sold it big time. I'm like, I don't even think they liked it. And so I'm like, Aaron, how'd you sell it? And Aaron was like, I was just kind of myself. He's like, I was like, oh, you didn't bring any douchiness into it? And then Aaron was like, no, I just kind of told him like who I am and what I'm about. I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm gonna look
Justin
like
was
a
like,
dickhead.
what?
But hey, luckily it all got scrapped, and I'm a nice guy. I feel like people would turn that on, and they'd see me and like, fuck this guy. This guy sucks.
I would have loved to do that. I just feel like I feel like I wouldn't pull that off as well. Like you can go in there and just start doing that. They would tell I'm an imposter. They would have been like, stop, start this over, do the Aaron thing because this isn't working. I was like, I can't pull that off as well.
That was so fucking funny. I feel like you sounded like a car salesman. Like it was like
It's
so
so
aggressive. Like,
true.
yo, what's up?
But the funny thing is, like, they kind of had like they knew that I wasn't like luxurious guy, so they're like, okay, bring the energy, but be yourself a little bit. And they're like, what type of guy are you? Like, like, what do you do when you go out on the weekends? So I like was like myself. I had like a weird sense of humor. I'm like, I'm kind of like a dimly lit, like foggy, like hometown bar guy, like somewhere like you might like see like your priest or like your t-ball coach and like have a beer with them. And they're like, yeah, let's bring that back. You're a club guy. Just say you like going to the club. I'm like,
Like you're
yeah,
gonna
sure.
scare people.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, it was
Oh my
hilarious.
God.
They knew I was like playing a character.
That is actually so funny. Thank you for sharing that with me. I would actually die if on every show at the end, like at the reunion, they aired everybody's casting tapes because you never think that like somebody would like be pitching. Like you don't think about that, like being nervous, like casting yourself, like really trying to sell yourself in like a 30-second like interview or like video. I wish that they just had like a reel of that. I love that.
It'd be
Um,
some gold. It'd be some
that's
gold.
You'd have a lot of. I still have my initial casting interview that I sent them, so I'll send you guys that to get a chuckle out of it.
Yeah, please do. Maybe I can put it like stitch it with this or something because
Yeah.
the people want to see it. That's for sure. So, going back to the game, we talked about that you guys are like two physical competitors. Like you guys kind of expected a challenge. What did you guys strategize once you knew the type of game that you were in? Like, what did you decide that you were willing to do for the money before? Did you have any no-goes that you wouldn't cross playing the game?
Um, I mean, we talk about it, and you know, like the fans kind of give us shit about it too. But like going into it, I was like, I'm gonna step on people's toes. Like, who are these people to me? Like, this is gonna be a 2 week show, and you know, I'm not gonna think too much of it, right? But as
Right.
soon as I met Aaron on the boat, it's like, fuck, dude, you're making it hard to like, you know, be selfish in a game or be selfish in a game like this. And
Yes.
so me being like a college athlete too, like, you know, playing football, playing sports my whole life, I'm going in thinking like, okay, like this is cake. Like, you know, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna rid everyone of all these physical challenges. But obviously you see that's not the case too. And it comes down to everything that's like everything psychological. And that was like the biggest hump for me. And then also with that, like I said, um, there's something to be said about spending like every waking minute with someone and getting to know who they are and where they come from and essentially just every fiber of their being. And if it's hard to put yourself first too, knowing that there's people out there
Mhm.
who are in a similar situation, but definitely need I don't know. I won't ramble on too much, but those were the two obstacles that I thought like were the biggest things, like no physical challenges, and then obviously building the bonds with the people that we made friends with.
That's a good point.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree with that. Like Justin, we came in there completely ready to just do what we had to do. Like we've probably all at least seen shows with challenges. So like, your mind can just run with that idea, right? And all the things you can do. But what's funny is that as I definitely got like, and I think that really is me. And I got a really nice guy like edit for the show, and I was really happy about that. But I can also be a bit of a skeptic. Like we went on to like the catamaran when I met Justin and Tabitha, and one of the first things I told them was like, "I'm gonna be honest, y'all. This is just too much. I feel like they're setting us up." And they were like, "Really?" I was like, this is too." I was like, "This is too nice. We didn't do anything. It's not like we're not famous. We're not like we didn't do anything to just have luxury." And but what the way they got me was that it was so late when we finally got moved down to camp. I was like, well, okay, well then maybe I was wrong. Then they finally did it, and I was like, so I was ready for that.
Yeah.
I would have, I definitely would have liked it a little earlier. But after I like accepted it, I don't think too many things were an issue, other than not being able to compete. Like it's one thing to like lose, like Justin and I have played sports most of our lives. Like it's one thing to lose. Like if I lose a competition, that's whatever. But to constantly be in a position of like wondering or like trying to guess what happens next or trying to get ahead of something that you probably won't get ahead of, that's pretty tough because you relinquish all control, and you have this strategy that may or may not even play a role into what happens next. And that's probably just the most challenging thing, in my opinion.
That's a really good point that I didn't really hear from Alex or Eva when we spoke, and I hadn't really thought of. Like, if you come in really great at physical challenges, and that's where you're like, this is going to be my strong suit, I'm going to crush it, and then everything is like tactical, social game, mental game. Then it's like you're kind of taken aback and like reprocessing and like trying to figure things out, especially since you guys don't know people. Like that's what makes it harder. Like you can have a great vibe with someone and be like, "Yes, let's align." And then all of a sudden kind of be surprised by who you like, which is ultimately what happened for you. Like you guys
Mhm.
aligned with Tabitha, because you adapted, you went with the social game. It's like, all right,
Mhm.
they're on the same level as we are, and then next thing you know, it wasn't that way. Um, with that being said, do you guys wish that you could go back and pick a new alliance? And if you could have, who would you have realigned with?
Good question. um, so to be honest, and I don't know if as like I'm curious about this, like when if I was to say this and hear what people have to say about it. I know when you watch the show, it's very clear and evident like the problems that are happening. But like it is important, I'm sure everyone will say this, but it is important to keep in mind that like we didn't see Tabitha again, like ever, for
Yeah.
like the rest of the game after Tabitha left. So uh, there's this whole component of like it can go from extremes, right? Like it can go as high as is everyone else against us and is trying to make sure our alliance is destroyed. And then as far as like, are we idiots in allowing Tabitha to do like there's a whole spectrum of possibility that we can't possibly know. So I think, I can't say I would make a different decision from the like initially
Right.
because we knew what we knew. We started how we started, and you can't change something you don't know. That being said, if there was anything we did differently, I probably would have just like after the first or second thing that came to us, probably just been a little quicker at cutting that alliance because we just didn't know how bad it was going to get. But I mean, we started pretty strong,
Yeah.
and I think the game got to Tabitha. I think the game got to everyone, and it just really became something like that we didn't expect in the beginning. But I mean, we thought what we thought, and we tried our best to like stay consistent and be good allies. And like sometimes that's all you can do.
Don't fault you guys for that at all. Do you have the same perception, or the same feeling, Justin, or do you feel like, you might have like missed something or overlooked something that you would have
Yeah, no,
typically?
for sure. And like watching it back, right? It's clear as day, and everyone's saying it like, like what are you guys doing? And like, yeah, absolutely. Like you forget though, we can't see anything. We can't see shit of what's
Totally.
going on. But the funny thing is too, like with Tab, right? I've got to work to get the pronouns right too. So if I say it, just correct me. But the funny thing was when they were first in they had their first altercation with Lilise, right? And it was the
Yes.
toothbrush thing that we heard, I want to say. And then
Hmm.
when someone relays that information to me, like I'm not quick to jump off the Tab alliance, so to say, because I know Lilise too, and I know Lilise is playing a game. I don't know that Tab's playing a
Hmm.
game, but I know Lilise is a big personality. So I'm thinking maybe both of them big personalities. They just went at it, but yeah, like now watching it back, yeah, if I could go back in time and after everything's unraveled the way it did, I would definitely probably sever ties with Tab from the beginning, or even maybe use them in a way that could benefit me going forward. How, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought too much in entirety there, but
Right.
yeah, no, I'm just kind of salty about what happened and how everything unfolded. And after that, initial watch back too, I was pretty upset too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would absolutely be upset because it's just kind of like you're bamboozled, and especially with, it's easy to tell people to like ignore comments, but as just like humans, we really aren't meant to have that many people's opinions. So it's like if you're already like kind of beating yourself up over, damn, I wish I saw those traits in Tabitha, I would have played things differently. And then you go online to hear it echoed by, 200 people, 1,000 people, whatever the number is. It just kind of makes things worse, because like you just said, nobody at home realizes one, the depth to the relationships that people initially form. And it's like, no, you don't see why we thought Tabitha was so cool. And then
Hmm.
we don't know as viewers that you guys aren't even near each other. Like you guys can't see the signs about Tabitha because you're not interacting. So that's a good perspective that people need to think on.
And maybe I'm naive, right? And I've been told it, and this is a weird comparison, but like I'm the type of guy that like dates a girl or talks to a girl, and like a bunch of other girls are like, "What are you doing, dude? Like this girl sucks." I'm like, I'm just trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like I can just, I don't know, I go along with people. But the funny thing is like Aaron can attest for this too. When Tab was like in camp in the beginning, they were super I don't even know. They were just very like friendly, very amiable. We're cooking
Hmm.
every time. We're cleaning, and like when people ask like, why did you vote Tab in? Obviously, there's the alliance, but then again, like we voted Tab in because we thought at the moment that they really deserved it. They were going out of their way to keep people's spirits up, to cook, to clean, and do all that. So that's what I will say there.
Do you believe like that the game changed Tabitha, or, after knowing what I know from the prior episode, which if you're listening and you haven't listened to, go listen to my episode with Alex, but he did say, that Tabitha left the group chat, and just like things after the season just kind of echoed what we as viewers saw during the season. So is this
Hmm.
like a character trait, or was this what the effect of the game? What in your opinion?
So I think it's a little bit about it's an easy answer, but it's a little bit of both. Like if you're that person, you're that person.
Yep.
Like a game can't just extract that out of you. Like there's something in you that just that's how you perform. That's how you compete, you know. And as someone who's like I'm a gamer, I'm an athlete, like I honestly like I genuinely was not offended by the way our alliance broke down. I'm like, you play how you play. Like I don't play like that. But if that's what you decided to do, you go ahead and do it. I think what happened post show is that not everyone is going to be that reasonable with seeing some of the things that you did. Like, not everyone's going to look back and be like, I'm cool with that. it's a game. It's gonna be like, well, no, like I expect this out of a person. I expect this out of a friend or someone that I would want to continue having a relationship. And I think whenever you have something aired and then the public opinion comes into play and there's so much scrutiny, there's so many more variables now that make the situation like you can criticize things even more than you did prior to. So yeah, I mean, I think the game once Tabitha got a little power and was in there and like could talk to Alex and like had the thing with Lilise, I think it all became so big and you're just getting that much closer to winning this big prize that it might exasperate an issue that was already there.
Yeah.
And and then we're kind of casualties of that because we're sitting there like, hey Tabitha, anytime you want to bring us up, we're here. But for me, at least for our relationship, I'll speak differently about the whole like coping thing and everything because that was a whole another thing that we didn't know about. Like we
Right.
didn't know about that relationship. But in terms of our alliance, like again, not offended by it. I just think it can easily just rub people the wrong way.
Yeah, let's talk about Copen for a second because I feel like that
That
was
was bullshit. The
that was just
Copen thing's
mean.
fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful. And you know what? I won't go into too much about outside of what has gone on in the real world, but
Mhm.
like this is someone like if Tabitha was going to pick someone and say like they had a genuine connection with someone from the show, it was Copen. So watching it back after the whole lighthouse decision, like we were pissed, but then we're like, what is this conversation? It kept going back to that conversation. What is this conversation that Tabitha had with Copen that completely swayed them from choosing us? That like it manifested throughout the show, and then even after the show, like they would visit each other, like they had the friend, and maybe they are friends outside of the show, but watching that back was probably the most infuriating thing about the whole situation. I mean, you can take me and Aaron. Like, I know I'm super opinionated. I wait until, I get to my boiling point. Aaron's a whole lot more patient than I am. But if there's a choir boy, an angel from that cast, it's Copen. And the fact that he was
Yep.
manipulated and taken advantage of when he was, thought he was in a genuine friendship with someone like Tabitha, that like I almost had to stop watching the episode after that whole conversation piece. I'm like, are you fucking serious? This is the lengths that they went to play. And what I will say too is to end that, and sorry to ramble on here, but
No.
if Tab were to come out and be like, this was the character that I was playing, or even like, you know what, the
Yes.
game got the best of me, and it was someone that I didn't necessarily, but they're just not so either they're not socially aware or they're just a bad person, so to say. But that never came, and what came with that was gaslighting in that last conversation, making us feel like we did something wrong. And
Right.
then even with the like then it just left Copen in a weird situation too. And I'm not going to speak for Copen, but what I will say is
Yeah.
he was someone who's at a loss watching that back. So
And I think he brought up such a good point. That's why I think, because I think we spoke about that. Like when the show came, we were like, "Did you know about that scene with the box scene and everything?" I was like, I had no idea. Like everything with us was pretty like cut and dry. Like we had our conversation, we kind of got past it. That was genuinely like, especially how much time has passed between now and then. It's like that's one of those things you thought you would have heard about by now. And I just think, like he said, that was probably the boiling point. And Cope is who you see him as. Like
Right.
Cope is 100% that guy that was on that show. And I think everyone felt that a little bit.
To be fair, like I felt bad for Copen when even in the beginning when Tabitha approached Copen about the size of his like graduating class, and then like in the confessionals, Tabitha's like I don't care. Like shut up, Copen. I've heard enough details. Like la di da. Like I'm putting in all this work. I better get Copen's vote. That was the moment that I knew like nothing was genuine. You know what I mean? Unfortunately. And I wanted to
oh
love
yeah,
Tabitha. Like I
Mhm.
really, really did. At first I saw Tabitha and I thought this is cool. Like Tabitha is, in the queer community and I'm an ally. So I'm with that. And, you know, it seemed like they had such an exuberant personality that you don't see that like portrayed very often. But the backstabbing, someone called Tabitha backstabitha in my comments, and that's what I've been going for because that's it.
I said that. That's killer. I was like, that is. So, I
Oh
was like,
my
why didn't I
gosh.
think of that?
Back Tabitha,
Backstabitha.
like that's everything. And it's
Leah, if you knew how many times Copen went back to that like to the point where he was like almost teary eyed talking about that
oh,
conversation, like the camera, right? What they filmed didn't encapsulate the entirety of what he told them. And that was like, you see us, like, we're like, Copen, come on, dog. Like, you know what they're doing right now. And he stuck, like, kudos to him. He's a loyal one. Even like when we were in the villa, he was like, yeah, no, like, I can't do that. I can't go against Tab.
Couldn't.
Copen is loyal AF. Copen is another good guy. I think I'm going to talk with him on my podcast eventually. I did reach out to Copen as well because I reach out to my favorite. So he was another favorite. I felt like really betrayed and like thrown under the rug. In terms of manipulation, for me, Gabe did something for me that I hated him the most. I'm just going to be honest. For being there less than 24 hours, making the decisions he make. I'm the type of person where if you do something more than once, I'm going to think that there's intention behind it. So, eliminating Cisco, ultimately eliminating you, eliminating Tabitha. For me, it felt like very unaware, white, misogynistic man. Like it felt like that vibe. Is he like, did you feel more manipulated by Gabe, less manipulated? What's your guys' opinion?
So
I'm gonna
Gabe was
say,
it? That was. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, you take it away after this. Gabe definitely got a tough edit. That's what
Okay.
I will say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, sorry. Obviously, given like our interaction, I would just have a lot to say about that. I will say this first before I say what to say next. I think everyone had an edit, right?
Yes.
Everyone got an edit, and if you were a villain, you were a villain.
Yep.
There was no getting past that, and in its entirety, you were that by definition. And so there's little like nuances and like edits to some of those scenes that I really don't think Gabe would like truly portrayed like in real life. And so I will definitely give him that. But what I will say about Gabe is I definitely didn't feel like even me, for example, like I know the edit was very like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a good guy, and then he backstabbed me. But I really didn't like in my heart trust Gabe. I There was
Okay.
just no reason to.
Yeah.
There was never really a reason to. He
Valid.
comes on to the show and he's tells us all about this great life that he has and all this stuff. First thing I'm thinking of is like, well, I don't really know what is this for you then? Like, because like I know I'm here for something, and at that point we hadn't really like talked about it that much, I guess. But I know I'm here for something. I didn't know why what his motives were for being here, you know. But he was also somebody worth making a relationship with. He's new in the game. He
Right.
obviously was given a lot of power from the start, being able to eliminate Cisco and pull Shay in. So it's like it's important. It's important to build relationships where you can. Leading up to our conversation, when that was a very long, that was much longer than it looks on the
Okay.
show. That was an incredibly long scene. I won't get into like the production side of it. I'm positive I can't do that. But we definitely almost went home. We definitely almost went home. Um, because I think a lot of my pride was coming out in that moment when we were having that discussion. Because I was really there for something, and I absolutely knew it wasn't, it wasn't important to the degree it was important to me for him. And I didn't want to say that out loud and be the reason for whatever people like, however people scrutinize the situation. Because I knew people were going to scrutinize it, like being there real time. But I didn't want to like exasperate that problem. So that's why it was important to me to be like, hey, I'm here for a reason. Like, you're not giving me a lot of breathing room. So, like, this is my dad's situation. Like, it's a game, but like, I could do something with it. So let me at least communicate that, and maybe we can have a better discussion about
Yes.
about this. And like it was not edited that way, but when I saw the reaction to like the whole thing and just seeing him, like I could see it. Like I knew what was going on there.
Right.
And at the very last second, I was just like, what is the point of me saying I'm here for something if I just let myself go right now? I mean, it's just gonna defeat the purpose
Yeah,
of me being here.
I was kind of pissed at you, dude. I was like, the
Yeah.
fact that you went to get that long, like, I know, listen, bro, like, you know how I fucking feel about that situation and about Gabe in
Yeah.
that situation. But if you left, I would have been so mad at you.
That was the first thing he said. We told him the scenario, and he was like, "If you would have went home," he was like, "I would have been furious." And that's what I was thinking too. And I was always
Yeah.
thinking about my family, and I was like,
Yeah.
if I would call them after I'm like eliminated, I'm like, "Yeah, this," they would have been like, "What?
Yeah.
Why did you do that?" And I know ultimately, it still went the way it went. But to be honest, I don't put that all on Gabe. Like there were four people there, four people, three of which I knew most of the time. And I took it, to be honest, I took it more as a compliment. I was like, if y'all think I'm that big of a
Competition.
threat to be in the game, yeah, then
Right.
kudos to you. Like I said,
Yeah,
I'm a
right.
game player, but I'll say this, and then if you have more questions, you do it. But I'll leave my rambling here. Um, I'm a game player. I had a good time. I think Gabe was a game player as well. Doesn't mean I agree with decisions overall, and like in life and the game and all that. Like I'm not saying I align myself with
Right.
that type of game player,
Right.
but there's parts of the gameplay that I can respect. And like as someone who was in a game with him, it was what it was. You know.
I really respect that. I respect that your perspective is a lot more level headed than mine. Because when I was watching, I was like, get this guy the fuck out of here. I'm like, I thought that he was like a bouncer. Like when he walked in, I'm like,
No, yeah.
We all
who is
did.
he? Is he like the is he a DJ? Is he gonna like bring them entertainment at camp? And he's like, I'm Gabe, like I'm here for the Corvette and the native kids. And it's like, no, you're not. Like I can tell you that with 2 million followers on TikTok, you're not here for that. You could easily afford to start a foundation for those native
Well, that's
kids.
what I was pissed about. Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. And I like, listen, I've been like Gabe has the douchiest intro, and he did it about 15 times too. Just like I said, like an entrance to like a porno, like it was about to be a threesome. He's like, room for one more. Somebody order a sausage pizza, like stuff like that. So instantly, I'm like, fuck this guy. And then he comes on the boat, the catamaran, and he starts talking about TikTok. And he's like, I was blessed to have a TikTok that went viral. And then me, like, not having a presence on TikTok, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, fuck this guy. And then
100%.
then we start having a conversation. And next thing you know, like, it's almost, he's like the president giving a press conference. He's very well spoken, he's very intelligent. And I'm like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, who? And he's handsome. But
I'll,
no, but that was a funny. He reminds me, like I will say, I like Gabe. I think Gabe's a
right.
good dude, right?
That's fair.
I think he means well. I think from the conversations that we've had, like yeah, I think he's a good dude for sure. And even with the Native American thing, I'll vouch for him here. When Gabe first came on, me and Gabe had the conversation about it. I approached Gabe knowing that he was from South Dakota. My sisters volunteer at the Rosebud Reservation out in South Dakota, and that's what initially sparked the conversation about it. I don't think he pulled that out of his ass by any means. If
Okay.
he did, I don't know, but that
Okay.
was that. But yeah, no. But other than that, like I wanted to hate Gabe, but I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't. He's a good dude. He reminds
Got
me of
it.
every finance bro that I've ever met in my life. So
That's the thing. I'm like, so you don't live on Wall Street in New York? Like you're not in finance? Because that's what he reminds me of
no, yeah.
too. Um, I appreciate your guys' take. I'll tell you that my comment section roasted Gabe, and
You're
so did
entitled to
I.
your own take.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Every
he
And
girl that I talk to is like, I hate that guy.
yeah.
I'm like, why? Because
yeah,
he reminds you of
I've
your
gotten
ex?
so
Wow.
many DMs, and that's that, and it's nice being on like that side of it because
Oh yeah.
everyone has been so supportive. Like even you, Lee. Like I want you to know. I know we're being like level headed about it, but I do appreciate your take. And your
Oh,
TikTok was hilarious, by the way. Like I
okay,
definitely
good.
saw it. The one about,
Love
I
it.
was like,
Well, I'm
because
gonna at the same. Go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't want you to forget.
I'll just sum it up. I'm just saying, like, we go back to it. You talked about the TikTok. Like, yeah, like let's read the room a bit here. Like, Gabe's doing quite well. Like that situation,
Yeah.
that's the most infuriating thing about it, right? I know it's a game, and I know that spices the game up, and maybe that's me, and that's the way that I was raised. But if I'm sitting across from Aaron in that situation, and he tells me that, I'm like, dude, fucking go ahead. Like, absolutely. Like this, it's about more than that. And I think we don't get that enough on reality television. I want things to be messy, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's about being humane, you know? So
yeah, and that was the thing.
Aaron,
I think that's a great point. And that was the thing about that conversation. Like we did talk a little more about our reasons than you showed. Like, they only showed mine, but like
Got it.
I heard things about the Corvette. I heard things about the I heard things about what Justin was talking about. I heard both. So I'm just kind of like, but I was even then I was like trying to like talk to him there. I was like, well, you know what? Like there's this going on too that you care about. So maybe, but it was just like, I'm gonna stay in the villa, or and I was like, something's gotta be worth. Something's gotta be worth.
Paper scissors. This, yeah.
It's like flip a coin, like But it it ended up being what it was. Like for me, I look at that situation, Gabe, just being like, it was just unfortunate to be pitted with someone who had less to worry about. Like there was just less going on, and that's just what it was. Like he can walk away from that, and it wouldn't matter as much as it would for me. And then like it showed me a lot about myself though. I was like, things are bigger than me, because my pride was, like I told Justin, I was that close to being like, screw it, I don't want you to win, and if I'm not gonna win, you're not gonna win, but I let that go for something that I felt like was bigger than me. And I still lost, but I'm still proud of the fact that that's what I went with. It's like, and I still lost, but I'm proud of that. That's what I went with.
That's what drove me crazy too. And then we'll move on from Gabe. It's like, I wouldn't call him somebody who, I'm just going to say the words that I feel. I wouldn't call him misogynistic. I wouldn't call him harmful if he didn't act so privileged. And my thing is, how did he put himself in the position to even say, it's me in the villa and you at camp, or we're both gone? Like, bro, how do you put yourself there? And that told me everything I needed to know about him, because he is the person who will put himself at the center, at the receiving end of the privilege. And for me, that bothers me. You know what I mean? Like, so like, and it's like, not to beat a dead horse, but like, that's just my opinion. He conducted himself very entitled, very privileged. I think that's how he moves in his life, assuming that you did think that all you guys could win was $100,000. A Corvette is 80. So like, what, you're going to give 20 to your charity? He just didn't feel transparent to me.
They upped it at the.
They upped it a bit.
You're right. Yeah.
They did.
But he didn't know that.
Yeah,
but I'm
right,
like, you didn't know that, Gabe.
Sorry.
Like, you little fuck. Like, you're gonna, like, I'm gonna give this. Like, no, you've not. But that's all I'll say about him, because obviously, I really.
No, but you're right. In that situation, it was like watching that back too, like head scratching moments when he's like, yeah, like it's me, it's my way or the highway. You're like, okay, but what constitutes that? You know what I mean?
Well, and that was a big thing for me, because I was like, we can just lose.
Right.
I was like, it doesn't have to be that simple. I was like, we could definitely go home. I was like, and there's definitely like a wilder side of me that's just like I can, like, we can just go.
Yes.
But that's why I was like, let me, because I didn't want that to come out. I was like, let me, because we realistically didn't know what was going to happen next.
Right.
We didn't know what the next thing was going to be. I was like, so let me not think like a younger version of myself. I was like, let me be level-headed and be like, I can fight for my opportunity, or I can end it here, And to Justin's point, because I feel like Gabe would watch this and be like, come on, I'm going to give him credit and say, like, after that conversation, after the show, he truly has been nothing but kind. Like, he truly has been nothing but kind to me.
Yes.
Do I still think the things I think? Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I'm not gonna lie. But he has at least portrayed very kindly and has been there, like, supportive.
Yeah.
Any like little milestone I've hit between now and then, just like in life, he's been like super. He's just been really, really supportive. But what happened, and that's not something you forget. That's not something you just
Facts.
easily like let go of in terms of like anything that could happen in the future. But I will say, like, he has another side to him too, and I want to also
Yes.
acknowledge that. So
You have to ask Copen about the situation because what the show doesn't show is fucking Copen was pissed. All of a sudden, they're like, I'm speaking for, like, I wasn't even there. Copen comes down to camp pissed, and Aaron's like, bro, Copen's pissed at me right now. I'm like, bro, why? He's like, I have no idea. Copen like keeps looking at me and shaking his head. He's like, won't say anything. And so then all of a sudden, like, Copen comes up to me. He's like, I can't fucking believe it, man. I'm like, dude, what happened? He's like, fucking Gabe, man. What the fuck? And then Aaron was like, dude, I thought you were mad at me.
I was like, I thought you were mad that I came back.
And Copen wasn't upset once the whole time. He was eating rice and beans with a smile on his face. He's livid, absolutely livid. And then I'm like, bro, are you good? He's like, I was fucking eavesdropping that whole conversation. I want to fucking kill that guy, Gabe. I'm like, dog.
Like, he was more mad than I was.
No,
Like,
that was me.
I came home.
I was open. I'm like,
What happened?
Go. That's why you love him, though.
Like, yeah.
I'm
Taylor
so glad
came
you
down,
shared
Taylor.
that.
Taylor was like
Copen
crying about
is-
Shay. We're like, all right, Taylor, enough about Shay. Like, relax. And then Copen with just everything. Like, Linda, Lalise, Copen. But wait till you hear about Gabe.
Gotta love Copen. Gotta love Copen.
He's like, you think your life is bad, Taylor? I'm gonna fucking kill Gabe. Like, so, like, stay tuned.
Also, that was the funniest cut ever with Taylor because they made that so dramatic, like the whole situation. If you saw all of our faces at camp, we were all like, I was like, I think they caught me rolling my eyes a couple times. I'm like, Taylor, like, relax, dog.
Taylor's like,
crazy.
Shay should have done that for me. And then Justin's like the eye roll, like in the back of the head. I'm like, that's what I wanted to know. Like, was everyone thinking this? Because Alex said it too at some point. He was like, girl, it's been 10 days. Like, you do not.
Well, what happened? So I think we actually waited for Taylor to go last because we thought it was also like really dramatic.
Yeah.
Like we thought they like broke up or like something like really wild happened because we all make Linda and Elise had a very emotional thing. I had the thing with Gabe. Copen and Haley was pretty quick. Like that was Copen being selfless. And so then no one knew anything about Taylor and Shay. So we're like, I think Linda and Elise go, I go. Copen's like, I just came back because I wasn't going to stay for Haley. And so we're all like, all right, Taylor, what is this? What happened?
She's like,
we all were just like,
get ready because it's a lot.
She tells us, we're like, wait, so what? He didn't sacrifice a spot like immediately? Is that was the thing? I'm like, all right.
Which I do get.
Like,
I get
someone
it. I
start
get
the
it.
stove. I'm getting hungry. No, I know. I get it too, but it's just funny.
I get it. I totally get it.
I get it
but
too.
we knew that we knew that Shay really cared about Taylor.
Yes.
So like we had so many conversations with him. We were like, Taylor, you don't have to worry. We were like, he's there for you. He's just
still likes you too. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, he told me he loved me, and now I'm questioning it. I'm like, yeah, well, it has been 10 days too, so
yeah, so maybe like that's valid.
Well. Yeah.
Game's coming to an end.
I'm sure he still likes you. No, but I love Taylor. Taylor's she's a sweetheart.
We love Taylor.
Love Taylor. She reminds me. Yeah, she reminds me of myself when I was in college. Like, 23 years old, like wanting all the attention and validation. The second you don't give it to me, onto the next. Like, where's your friend? I don't know. Like, I'm done. So I love that about her. I love that about her.
Turn, huh?
Yeah.
You okay?
So before we play a game, we talked about Gabe. We talked about other things. I know Aaron's reason for going for the money. I knew Shay's was he was doing something for his sister's wedding. Justin, are you comfortable sharing like what were you trying to win for? If there is a reason.
Like the same thing. Like, yeah, I'm not going to get too transparent about my reason or what I
Right.
was on there for, but it definitely wasn't for self gain. Like,
Right.
obviously, like, you pocket a lot of the money and stuff like that, but like my parents worked their asses off, like my
Absolutely.
grandparents, everyone, brothers, sisters, and obviously there's bills there that fall under different umbrellas, right? So about me, I mean, like, I'm not gonna, not to sound conceited by any means, but if you saw the way that I played the show, like, I would have been as selfless as I was with the money than, as I would, as I played the game. So I definitely take care of my people. So
And that's powerful too. I feel like people forget that like I can relate to that. My parents are, mid 70s, still working full time. It's like you want to just help the people you love. Like you don't want to see people suffer. You want to see people just take things a little bit easier, not get stressed out. And that's a good enough reason to win. Um,
Mhm.
when you guys think about your time at Villa versus camp, when were you most relaxed? Because at the Villa, you're chilling, but it could be taken away at any second. And at camp, you kind of like get to let loose, but there's no amenities.
it's a good question. You, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this. We talked about that on the show. Yeah, the villa is stressful. The villa is like for me, it's synonymous with stress. Like it's nice
Yeah.
to get there. The food is awesome. The beds, the Kit Kats, but the like at camp, I mean, you just sometimes there's just like this serenity there that is just so nice, and you really get to know people. And I mean, I feel like that's where like this bond came from and like other bonds on the show came from. It's really hard to do that in the villa, and I'm sure everyone will say that. Like I'd be surprised if someone like would disagree with that, because camp is it's just such an isolated experience that you'll probably never get again that way, in such a unique scenario. So I mean, camp would definitely be my favorite place to be, like emotionally and socially.
Yeah.
Comfortably, I mean, I wouldn't say it's comfortable,
Right.
don't like the dirt that much, but in terms of like building yourself as a person, definitely at camp, hands down.
You're at Aaron. You always have a beautiful way of articulating things. Like you said, emotionally at camp, it's great, right? You don't have to throw any of your people under the bus. You're initially like trying to get people into the villa. So if anything, you're helping people for the most part. And that's where we built the strongest bonds too. I think like one thing that I can cover my own bases with is when the whole Alex situation comes up, and I have to vote Alex. We both vote Alex back down to camp. And then people are like, why'd you do that? It's like what you don't see is like the conversations about, that I've had with Haley, the conversations that I've had with Copen down there. Like some like obviously you see what you see on TV, but like some really, really deep conversations and like some very vulnerable moments that definitely weren't captured. So I will say, yeah, camp for sure. Like you're emotionally secure, like you feel validated like with the people around you. But then, like, as corny as it sounds, right? Even looking back on the experience, you remember everything that you did in camp, right? The materialistic stuff that you do. Like, I forgot we had like a gong bath that they didn't show. We had like, obviously, yeah, we had so much other shit in the villa. Me and Aaron like legitimately raided the fridge. Like, they had to like, what? We cleaned out the ice cream like every
All the
single day.
time.
It was crazy. But like we had but like the best experiences, the best conversations, like everything like stems from, being an outsider. And hence I got it
Oh,
tattooed on.
yeah.
Outsider,
So
love that tat.
I actually
yeah,
thought that
but
was
now I
super
go out,
cool.
I talk to women and they're just like, why do you have outsider tattooed on you? Do you think like you go against the grain? You're like a bit of a rebel? I'm like,
I
no, here's a Netflix show that I'm going to be on. And they're like, all right, buddy.
Good one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't ask you if you're like trying to do something from that play, like The Outsiders, like it was like the Jets for like there was like that guy named Pony Boy or something. I don't know if
No,
that's
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you just combined the Outsiders with West Side Story, but
Yeah,
no,
no
yeah,
big
the
deal.
Outsiders.
History.
That's it. That
Summing it
sounds. I was
up.
gonna say that sounds it's a hybrid. You might have to take that and run with it. That sounds like
Not a
something that
bad thought.
could be
Yeah.
good. Could be work out. Yeah.
Okay. Look, I wanted to know if you guys have any stories that you can like is there any funny moment? You just talked about camp, the gong. Is there any fun, like favorite moment that we missed that we can get to know? Okay, so we were about to talk about favorite moments that we didn't get to see captured on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of you can start, whoever wants.
Go for it. You have one in mind?
Oh yeah. What I will say is, right, it's Lighthouse Day, all right, or it's the day before Lighthouse Day, and what they don't show is me, Cisco, Aaron, and Shay and Copen have been in camp. We're emaciated, right? It's all of a sudden we start getting like a bit delirious. It's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Shay's so messed up mentally that he like starts jumping on the logs and like screaming like a pterodactyl and says that he's a pterodactyl. He's like, "Ah!" So then
Literally.
Cisco's like, what is going on? Meanwhile, I'm on the top, the coop, and I just ate white rice. I didn't eat any of the beans. So I start like hallucinating. I start hallucinating and then my head falls back and I just hit my head and pass out. And then I wake up to these guys like shaking me. Shay's like, bro, are you good? And next thing you know, like he's acting like a pterodactyl again. I'm like, bro, what is going on? So then that night they're like, guys, hang in there. I got a psych eval. I'm like, yo, I'm hallucinating. I feel like I can't tell what's reality, what's not reality. Then all of a sudden, Aaron gets called to go to a MIV. Then it's me and Shay and Cisco, or me, Shay, I forget who it was. I can't honestly
It
tell
was
you.
you, Shay, and Copen right there.
And Copen. And so then all of a sudden, like, we're looking for anything at this point. We look at the chicken feed that they have in the coop. The feed that they feed the chicken, right? The actual, like, the shit that they feed the chicken.
Uh-huh.
And it has corn in it. It has corn in it, like corn from off the cob. So then all of a sudden, we start fucking putting the chicken feed in the pan. Like, we look like cavemen, like not making any noises. And then we started roasting it over the fucking fire. And we're like, popcorn, we're gonna have popcorn tonight.
Chicken feed.
Corn, not like chicken feed. And and there's just a thing of chicken feed in the cast iron skillet. And then Aaron comes back, and I'll let you take it away, but I look at Aaron, I'm like, dude, we're going to have popcorn tonight. This is great. Like, we're innovating.
The
And
most
then,
bizarre thing. The most bizarre thing. So I walk out from the interview and I look and they're like, yo, we're about to have popcorn. And I was like, y'all, that's not a kernel. I was like, this isn't about to turn into popcorn. And they're like, no, but it's cooking. It popped. I was like, yeah, it's over a fire. It popped because
Oh
it's
my
burning.
God.
And they were just sitting
so
there, and y'all
Aaron,
look so defeated.
no,
Oh.
because then Aaron is just like the messenger, and he's like, you guys realize that's corn. That's not a kernel. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh,
Fucking
gee,
ruined
Aaron.
it.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
right? You ruined it.
I was like, we
And
got to
so
get
then
in
we
this
went
villa.
back,
All right.
I'm
and
not
then
gonna
all of a
lie, I would
sudden,
have tried that. I would have tried to eat it still. Like it doesn't matter. It depends on
we
how
still
long.
tried to eat the feed. Yeah, it wasn't good. But then even after that, it's Lighthouse Day, and we're like, oh, it's Lighthouse Day. Like, we're going up. We didn't know it's Lighthouse Day. It's Decision Day. We're going somewhere. It's going to be this big expedition or whatever. I think it was this day. We're like, let's get a workout in. So we did a whole guys workout down at camp, and we were like fucking squatting rocks and doing push-ups. And like doing that after you haven't gotten any vitamins or nutrients for the past like almost 2 weeks is probably not great. So then
Yeah.
again, I passed out like twice. We're at the lighthouse. They're telling me there's a possibility I'm still going back down to camp. I'm like, yeah, if that's a possibility. I'm just gonna go.
Yo,
I'm like, I'm
Justin was
not
done.
chilling.
Like, you were done Lighthouse Day. Like, we did the
Yeah.
workout. It was so dumb. We had zero, like, I don't know how many calories a day. Like, I don't know, like significantly less than we usually do. And we worked out. Justin was already going through it. Didn't you have like, you had those bites on your face too? What was
Yeah,
going
I
on with
had
that?
bugs that
Didn't
were
you?
biting my lips. I had burns all over my hand from like grabbing,
Oh
like
my
just not
God.
realizing, putting my hand over the fire. And then it's Lighthouse Day. SK comes up to me. She's all happy. She's like, "Oh my God, how are you?" I'm like, not good. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, what's wrong? What's right?
And that's what made Lighthouse Days so terrible, because it was like Tabs comes up and we're like, all right, at least one of us are getting in here. It's like that was like Copen, and we're like, what?
What?
Oh my God, that's so
So like,
defeating.
Yeah.
like you see, like even with SK too, right? Like if I was, oh my God, like you guys don't see like a lot of what happened between me and SK for sure. So when she's crying too, like
Oh yeah.
there's a reason. Like in like Tab doesn't pick us. I'm like, fuck, like this sucks. Like I'm not gonna be in the villa because at this point too, like I'm like thinking about not only about me and Aaron in the villa, but I wanted to be in the villa with SK in the worst way. And so when that happens, it's like fuck this game. Like I was so over it, dude. It was
Yeah.
awful.
Were you and SK a separate showmance that we didn't get to see? Is that shady to
Aaron, you
ask?
can
Like, is
speak
there,
on.
I,
is there like, are there any?
Well, out of respect for SK, I don't know why they like scrapped it because like she's getting all this flack from people being like, "Why are you so upset in that moment?" Like at the decision day, so to say. It's like, yeah, like we were, we were continuing on quite well down at a camp. So
Right. So they only let us see Shay and Taylor, and you and SK Loki had a thing going on as well. I wish we could have seen that because
no, I know it would have been. Yeah, it would have been great. It was like it was crazy. SK is unreal. Like I thought SK was like super sexy. She had a wonderful personality, a Southern belle, and like
definitely.
it was like yeah, no, I was enamored. And then it's just tough though because they're like, okay, like you have your showmance and stuff like that. Hey, by the way, there's condoms in the outhouse. I'm like, I haven't washed my balls in like 9 days. There's no way I'm having
Like, so
sex with someone.
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, but thanks. And even like brushing their teeth, they're like, "You guys want to kiss?" I'm like, "No, I haven't scrubbed the jibs in like 2 weeks, dude. Like, no, I don't want to make out with anyone."
Damn. I feel like
yeah.
okay, so that even makes even more sense. So of course you want to get in the villa, like wash your body,
Yeah,
like share a hug, like do anything that's not
yeah,
like repulsing one another. That makes a lot of
No.
sense.
Yeah, you don't feel attractive at all at camp. Like we talk about how good it is, like from the bonding perspective, but like, yeah, I mean, if you're like crushing on somebody and you want to pursue that, that is not like how often do you go on a date in the real world and you want to be like your worst self going into that? It's like, yeah,
yeah,
it's just
right.
it's awful.
Like
Like I can't
especially
leave the house with deodorant out. Yeah, so like, how am I gonna spit game to this girl with like
Exactly.
fucking shit in my yeah, right?
also you managed to spit game with like a head injury and like passing out 3 times. So that was pretty good on you, like don't
Look at me.
undermine that.
You
um
and Shay.
yeah, both of you. Okay, I want to play a game really quick about camp. So it'll just be like put a finger down, like with like 5 fingers, camp edition. So, and if you've done it, put a finger down. Whoever puts their fingers down the fastest, I guess you lose. And there's no like punishment though. You just lose.
Oh God.
Oh,
Um,
I don't know.
so put a finger down if you phoned a friend for a real world update when you were at camp. Because I know that you guys got burner phones. That much I know.
Oh,
Take it
definitely not at
away.
camp.
Take it away. Yeah, no.
No. Okay.
We didn't have
Wow.
access to phones at all. Yeah.
No. I didn't know people thought that. No, we didn't have anything.
I
No,
thought you
yeah.
guys for sure would be able to at least send like a distress signal if it got too
No.
overwhelming. Okay.
No. I wish.
Could
The production called my mom when I was like down and out. That was it. I couldn't give her any updates.
she was
Yeah.
probably freaking out with her Boston accent and
Oh,
all like
freaking
what
out.
the
Yeah.
fuck? Yeah. Mhm.
What's going on? Does he have access to water?
um put a finger down if you like got drunk at camp. Can you drink at camp? I guess.
Oh, what?
What?
Leah, what do you think this was?
Leah, do you think this is like luxury? Is this like
Guys,
Oh, camp was
glamping?
awful.
I thought there would be
No,
like
camp was
alcohol.
awful. No,
No, okay.
you
To your point though,
you had
y'all don't know.
two scoops of white rice three
White
times a
rice
day. That's all you
and the
had.
blandest beans you ever had. I will say this though, you don't get to see this for any of us on the show, but I love going out. I am like the sun comes up, I'm still out. I just wanted. At that point, we were so depleted. Like one shot would have had us in. I was like, just give me
Yes.
two.
Yeah.
Just give us two drinks.
2 and
I'd
we'll
be
be
happy. We
floored.
got nothing at camp.
Okay, so I'll like get rid of some of those questions then. Put a finger down if you ate more than you were supposed to of rations. Like did you actually have to just have one spoonful of rice, or could you go back to the pot?
It's like subjective for how many people are down there, but like, yeah, but I don't think anyone wanted to be honest.
Okay, you get
I
like
don't
your
know.
fill
Yeah.
was enough. It's not that appetizing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't want it that much.
Guys, you're gonna put any fingers down. My questions
I
are the
know, right?
worst. I thought camp was like fun. I have like put a finger down if you had sex.
Oh
Like
my God.
okay,
I
like never
think
mind.
camp is a lot worse than it came across. That's the only thing I can imagine.
That's what I'm learning, and I'm learning that okay. Put a finger down if you got in an argument at camp. Did anybody get in an argument?
I feel like I was
I don't think
someone got yeah, we probably got in an argument at camp. I think I did.
at camp.
Do you remember who it was with? Your argument?
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
don't know.
me
Maybe
and
in the
like
villa.
when Shay, yeah. Shay's
Damn.
like the type of friend. Shay's like the type of friend that you can only like take for so long before you're like, dude, like not like get away from me, but like, what are you doing? Like he starts screaming like a pterodactyl. So I'm like, dude, shut up. No, maybe not. Maybe I didn't get in an argument at camp.
I know in the villa for sure. I don't think at camp for me.
Okay,
No,
that's
I
fair.
did get in, not an argument, but when SK had the fishing thing, we had like a little bit of a. She's like was talking about how she was like a
Oh
big
yeah.
fisher and how she wanted to help. But I was like, yo, SK, like just if you want to go to the villa, just say you want to go to the villa. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she actually a fisher though?
yeah, she's like a big fisher. So
Oh,
we were thinking
cool.
like, yeah, and so she kind of took the back seat because she's like, like I'm a good fisher, but like I can't take being down here. But she was like playing like she's like, I would do it, but I don't really. I'm like,
I got it.
SK, just say you want to go
Just
to
say
the
you need to
villa.
leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I feel that.
yeah.
Um, did anybody share a story that they had cut at camp?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything. I feel like wasn't on
Everything.
there.
We went to problems with like our upbringing to like how I have this ghost that haunts me whenever I have sex with women. Like,
Forgot about that.
Oh
yeah,
my God, you have like a poltergeist and it comes to get you.
she's defensive. Yeah, she's not afraid to tell she's not
There's
afraid to let her feelings be known about the
That's
women that I bring home.
it's literally a movie with Matthew McConaughey where his ex-girlfriend's ghost like fucks with every new woman he sleeps with.
Yes.
That's you.
Tell me.
Yes.
There you
Literally.
go.
No, I saw a medium. It's legit. I saw a medium about it. She said the same thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, I knew that.
You're
That's so wild.
That would scare the shit out of me. I'm telling you that right now. That's like American Horror
No,
Story.
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And like though like yeah, no, it's absolutely nuts. And she takes it out on me because I'll wake up covered in scratches. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, yeah, no, it's because you're with a girl. And like, no, like didn't get that rough by any means. Or like the girl will wake up with scratches, or like shit will fly across the room and stuff like that. So now when I bring women home, I have to tell the lady who watches over me to like that it's okay and like this is like a good person. Like you don't have to make yourself known.
Oh my God.
I swear to God.
I
Keep
thought
that in
you
mind, ladies.
I literally thought you were about to say I have to tell everybody I sleep with like, "Hey, don't take it personal, but I'm recording this. Like I need to watch this back later so I
Yeah,
can
no.
see the ghost." And I was going to be like, "That's so good actually." Like try to tell someone no. Like, "Oh no, you can't watch our ghost like while we like no." I would be like,
Leah, it's
"Okay."
crazy. I didn't go to the medium until two people in two completely different states told me that they saw a woman, like people who have like the sixth sense thing. They're like, I can see a woman lurking behind you. I'm like, yeah, that's my mom. They're like, no, the lady that's like, she's dead. She's not real. And
Same
so
description and
two
stuff
separate
too.
occasions that happens. So then I go and I see a medium, super skeptic about it. Tell the medium like some stuff's been happening to me. Like, don't give her anything. She like eyes back in the head. She starts writing on this like piece of paper. She calls me like a week later, tells me like everything about it. Or she sends me an email, which is like, yeah, there's a lady. She's super like, she follows you around. Like she's looks at you almost as like she's like a matriarchal figure in your life, and she's gonna like judge the decisions that you make. And I had not told her anything about what was going on necessarily, but she kind of gave me the whole scoop. And yeah, it's been crazy. It's been nuts. I've had girls leave my house, my apartment in the middle of the night because they see like this lady in the hallway staring at them.
This is the most shocking thing I've ever heard. I'm not
Crazy.
even, and I
Crazy.
believe
Terrifying.
you. I believe you because my dad's a pastor, and as a kid, I did see an exorcism when I was 10. So I believe you just in terms of like spiritual realm. But that would have me carrying sage on me, very scared. What about you,
Sage
Aaron?
the
Can you,
house, white
yeah.
rose petals. It's crazy.
Terrifying. I don't work well with that. So he told us that story, and I was just like, I didn't need this in my life, but I guess I have it now. It's like I didn't need this. So something that it wasn't really a story, but it's a wild thing that happened, and I don't think it was in the show. Um, but Linda. So it was wild. Shay comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, I think Linda already knows you." And I was like, "This is like the first day that like we're actually at camp." And I'm like, really? I was like, I don't think we know each other. He was like, yeah, I think it was something about like he went to like, I mean, she went to law school with like your sister or something. And I was like, really? So I go up to Linda because we had hardly had spoken at this point. And I was like, Shay told me that you might know my sister. She was like, yeah. So I saw you two on TikTok one time. It was like a video that went like, I guess kind of viral at the time. And she was like, it's so crazy. Me and your sister went to law school together, and I had to live with her for like 2 weeks. And I was like, what? She was like, I lived with Amber. She was like, we were like I lived on her couch for like X amount of time because she was like transitioning to like another place or something. And like it was just a whole thing. And so that actually plays a huge role into like me and Linda's relationship on the show. Cause like even when she picked me for the box, it was like, hey, like I know that we don't know a lot about each other, but we're gonna use this connection point as being like I hope we build trust. And like even at the end where like we vote, like that was a whole thing. So it was funny because like that first day interaction and like figuring that out just played a role into like our relationship, both on and off the show, really. So that was wild. That was the most bizarre thing because I just that's like a story your sister would tell you, and like it's like oh that's okay, someone's living with you. Never would imagine you end up on a reality show with said person. Like that was just so random.
That is so cool. And you know what? Everybody loved Linda, like for different reasons, but that
Hmm.
makes sense. It's like as to why you had like your tie with her. Happy to see her, win the money ultimately. Have you
Hmm.
guys talked to Linda or Laylee's like since it's wrapped?
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Good.
we
yeah, yeah,
saw
yeah.
them not too long ago.
I'm obsessed with them. Like I love them. They're my two fave girls of the show. I'm just so happy that it ended the way it did. I know a lot of people aren't. They're like Linda should have taken the money. Like I wish she didn't split it. I was happy to see it because that's like a true friendship. That's a true alliance right there. I don't think that I would have done it personally. Would you guys have split the money if you came down to the end?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
would.
Absolutely.
I would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw,
I get the enticing thing because like 250K is a lot, but you also like I don't know if you ever watched the challenge, but like sometimes they have opportunity to split like at the end, and it's really hard. Like Justin and I, we I think other than that, like there was a day or two whenever we got split up because of Alex, like we went through that whole thing together. So it's almost like I wouldn't have even felt like I gotten there on my own. So it
that's
wouldn't it wouldn't
valid.
it wouldn't have even felt right. It would have felt like I would have went behind his back if I would have just kept it. That's me
Yeah.
personally. Like I feel like I didn't do it
Yeah,
alone, so I wouldn't want to keep it alone, you know?
and
That's
I'm
real.
throwing money to SK too. I'm taking
Hmm.
what I'm giving, or I'm taking for myself, and I'm throwing for that to SK too, because I'm not in the game if they don't sacrifice. So
I love that. I don't know if it's shady, I don't know if it's selfish, but my family's bills are just like so astounding with like medical bills, my parents being the age they are, student loans. I think I would have to be super selfish as a lifelong people pleaser and person who never puts myself first, and that would probably be the hardest decision I would make. But ultimately, I would take the full thing, and then I think I would give like 25 grand to whoever I was closest with, because the rest would truly just be going to my parents anyways. So I'd be like, it's not, I'm not spending it. Like, I'm not going out and getting Botox or anything.
Hmm.
It's going to my parents, but I respect that a lot. I like to hear for people who truly have that like help others, because this was a show that's rare. I've never watched a reality show that integrity like takes you a long way. It's usually always how do you fuck people over, and this show was unique like for that reason.
yeah,
Okay.
that's a
Yeah, I
great
mean,
point. Yeah,
exactly. I think it sounds like you would have done well there. And honestly, I understand that. Like if anyone would have kept it, even Linda, like I would have understood that because
Yeah.
as much time as we spent together, there's still this whole other life that has nothing to do with the show that you need to keep in mind. So like even Justin, for example, if he would have done it and not split it, like
Yeah.
I would have been like, I get it
Yeah.
because there's so many variables that were there before me. So I can't be like mad that you need to look out for your people. Like it's
yeah,
just I get that.
absolutely.
Is there anybody that you guys aren't friends with post show? Is there anyone that you guys aren't close with? Any drama, any tea? Are you guys like very close with everyone?
You
Yeah,
start
each
that.
other.
Yeah, you start that.
uh hmm. I'm trying to wait a second.
Yeah,
I don't I don't have it. I'll put it like this. I don't have any bad blood with anybody. Like, I don't like. There's no one I look at like I need to block their numbers. I need to take them out my phone. Like there's no one that I feel that like much of a way about. But I'm definitely not like super duper close with like I wouldn't say I'm like super duper close with Gabe
yeah,
or anything. Like definitely not like we would definitely we communicate
right.
and we do that, but definitely not like number one on the list. But I wouldn't say we're like bad. And then Tab's leaving the group. Like Alex already talked about that. With Tab leaving the group message, I think Tabitha just needs a bit of a break from the group. And
Yeah.
oh, the people that were close, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, like I'm a pretty open like unless you do something like terribly wrong, which people argue that people would definitely make that argument about Gabe, like which is why I put him kind of in somewhere in that category because I know like some things you can't just let completely pass. But I definitely don't hate the guy by any means. Like it's just what happened happened. And Tabitha, I'm definitely open arms to Tabitha too, but I think it just there's some healing from everybody. I think that needs to be done with that situation, but I wouldn't say I have any bad blood with anybody, but Justin, you might have a whole different take on that.
So am I good now just talking like this? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like call it how it is, right? Like you said, no bad blood. Like me, I'm not someone who gets like super like I don't know, like I don't have to like sit here and play the revenge game or do anything. One person I just don't care for whatsoever is Tab. Like I really just nothing about them appeals to me in real life. It seems as if after the show they are the same person that they were on the show. Not necessarily someone that I align with in any way in terms of ideals, in terms of morals. I mean, watching it back, the gaslighting, the manipulation, and then for after the like for the show to even end and for it to continue and for it to be like getting hit up with a slew of message of being like, being getting like gaslit again and being like, why are you doing? It's like really just like keep 100 yards away from me at all time. Like I don't want anything to do with you, and it sucks. Like you know what I mean? Like Do I want that in any way? No. But like in the same sense, like me in my 26 years old, in my mid 20s, like dealing with like, the perils of being a young man right now, and not to say that young men and young women, like anyone doesn't go through it differently, but like I can't have that negativity. I can't have that like spitefulness in my life, and it's too negative for me. I'm not rocking with it whatsoever. Do I wish the best for Tab in their future? Absolutely. Do I want anything to do with them? No, nothing at all.
That's super valid. I don't blame you for keeping your distance, and that's a good point. Like, our energy is so like susceptible to other people. Like, I'm someone who, if I'm around like toxic energy, it's not that I mirror it, but I feel it to the point where it makes me feel almost like physically unwell, And when you're around people who are spiteful, some of it can sit with you. So I don't fault you in any way. I respect that. I think that that's unfortunately the overall consensus. So I'll be, keeping Tabitha in my prayers in terms of, I'm sure that it hasn't been an easy life. Nobody really gets to that space. I'm a huge person that gives like probably too much grace, but I don't believe people really get to be as hard as they are unless they've had a lot of hardness brought onto them. So all I can do is pray that the hourglass flips for Tabitha and something can change.
And that's what I think that was beautifully said. And like you said too, completely understand that. On the show, I think Justin and I always like to check in because I think we process like people like that differently, that like kind of wrong you or like do certain things that like very distasteful in like your experiences with them. Like I'm probably like you, I have a tendency to just like show a lot of grace and try to just like move on from it and try to build from where we can. And that in itself can lead to its own problems. Like you can have too much of that, right? And I'm definitely guilty of that. So I think it would always be good, like bouncing from Justin, because Justin, as you can see, has a little bit more of like a hey, like I'm done with this, like I'm calling it. And I think there's just you want to go? Go for it.
I think he was
Oh, okay.
agreeing.
Oh, agree. Yeah. So I think it's good to pick from both of those because, like, my siblings, for example, whole different approach than me. Like, if they were on this podcast and they were talking about their opinions of everything, after like they are almost frustrated with how reasonable I am with some
Right.
of this, like some
Right.
of the things that went on. That's just me.
Yeah.
That's just how I am. But I totally get that. The only thing I do want to say, and this is just to anybody that'll hear this, like, please don't crucify Tabitha.
Yes.
Like, Tabitha is a person. Like, we're on the show and that's super exciting, but like, no one wants to wake up every day and be like absolutely destroyed in a comment section or on a Reddit or on a tweet. It's just a lot mentally, even for me and Justin, who I would say majority of our comments are like at least neutral to positive. It can still be a lot. So for Tabitha, I say that too because in worst case scenario, people it can really just get to people's head in like the worst way. So I just want to say that too, because I know everyone's opinion of Tabitha. It's pretty out there. But just wanted to say that too.
Yeah, and it's also easy to form, an opinion on someone that you just see on a reality TV show, right? I'd say like, I can form this opinion because I know Tabitha. I mean, like, and let's talk tea, right? The one thing that set me over the edge too, and you could check, if it's not deleted by now, but I post that Instagram of me and Aaron, Team AJ. You know what I mean? It has a nice ring to it, and like, Tabitha has the audacity to comment on the Instagram and say, "I think you voted me to the villa because what was it exactly?" I think, you know what? Let me pull it up. Let me pull up the receipts.
Yeah, pull up the receipts.
So they comment on my Instagram and they say, sorry, I'm scrolling through the comments right now. And they say, starting to think that you only voted me into the villa so you could have Aaron Blake all to yourself. Which is like such a ridiculous thing to say because you think about it too. It's hypocritical because Tabitha runs an organization for, youth, LGBTQ plus youth to be open and prideful about their own sexuality. And here I am on my Instagram posts being ridiculed for like, in speculation of not being straight. And I wanted to be like, I try to be respectful about it and say, this isn't it, Tab. But like, what is so taboo about a man not being straight? Or like, if I did have feelings for Aaron, what is so taboo about that? And why would that, land me in a spot that was like a bad light? So it was just super distasteful. I didn't appreciate it whatsoever. Like, I'm comfortable enough with my sexuality that like, I can navigate around things like that. But like, that was just like that was a really low blow. And speaking to Alex about it too, like he was like, dude, that was crazy. So that was one thing that was just like super disgusted by.
And like you said, I think what made that just really distasteful, it was like post show. So it's like this is the opportunity for us to really just kind of like hash through those things and like be better. And it's like you just kind of double down on something that like was really just unnecessary. Like we're all poking jokes at each other. Like you go to all the comments and people are saying like all kinds of things. It's like, but of course, this is the angle like you went to, and like it's just there's things that have like Justin said, it's consistent and on and off the show, and it's just I want things to be better. I mean, with all of me, I do. It's just really hard when it's not. I mean, plain and simple, it's just not sometimes.
Um, Thank you for saying that, Justin, because that makes me feel really happy that you can acknowledge that, because a lot of men, really aren't comfortable enough in their sexuality to the point where sometimes, like back on Xbox days, it even used to be like an insult. You know what I mean? Like we're of the age like 20s, where people would be negative about sexuality. And it's kind of concerning that Tabitha is running an organization to help instill confidence in like the queer youth, and then at that same time dismisses, outs, exploits, says something negative of like a castmate's sexuality. And I'm not even saying that that's true. It's just the comment to make, and like what you would be implying with that comment is very dirty and disgusting. I agree completely.
Yeah, and understandably so. Maybe it's them trying to just poke fun and stuff like that. But understand at the end of the day, like your words do have a certain meaning to them. They do hold a lot. Especially being the person that you are. So and after like we talked about, I mean, not to air out the conversations with Alex, but Alex came to us and was talking about how, and he talked about it in the show, how he's not comfortable with like straight
Right.
men or hanging out with straight men. And he found it difficult to, accept his sexuality at a young age. Wonderfully for him, it was pretty seamless acknowledging it and coming out to his parents. His parents threw him a party. So that's like sweet to hear. But we know that's not always the case for people. And some people feel like they need to remain in silence about it. So that was like the most disgusting thing, thinking back to the conversations and,
Right.
the times that we shared back down at camp, only for a comment like that, a nasty comment to come up on the Instagram. But everything like it, not to shed too much negativity on it, like going back to
Right.
Alex, like it's hilarious. It's great now. Like I can confidently say Alex is like one of my best friends. And like us going into it, he hadn't really had too many experiences like broing out with straight men. Like I have a few gay friends, but none to the point where we ever talked to in depth about like sexuality and things of that sort. So like it's been super great. It's been enlightening. He took us to the gay club in Miami and we were having a blast.
Love it.
Me and Aaron were going to the bathroom. We're like, bro, if we ever feel bad or like insecure about ourselves in any way, let's just come back to the gay club.
Yes.
But it was great. It's awesome, and it's a wonderful community, and yeah, it's just been special. It's been really special.
And it was special to see the bromance too. It was special to see how close you are. And I think that it's really unfortunate that men really are taught or conditioned, I'll say, through society to not show affection to one another, don't compliment one another, support each other, but not too much. Well, as women, we get to embrace each other and hug and kiss each other on the face if we want, and, just outpour love. It was refreshing to see you guys support each other. Are you guys okay if we end with a game?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. And I say game, but like
That's how we got here.
my last game like did not
That's
go
how we got
great.
here.
So like let's see how this goes. So I made categories, and then I'm gonna say them, and then you guys tell me like which castmate you think fits the category, and I'll try to
I
do
love
them.
superlatives.
Yes, yeah, like senior superlatives. There we go. Okay, so who was the most loyal? You guys can say yourselves too if you believe that that's the case.
Yeah, I'd say Aaron. Right? I mean, I won't. I'll say. You know what I'll say? I'll say Copen. Copen was.
I would say Copen too. I think he earns that. I think Justin. I think we naturally want to say each other because we literally were loyal to each other to the very end. But Copen's loyalty, I feel like it deserves to be acknowledged because of the situation he ended up in. Like he was very loyal. Like even if to a fault, like, and he'll admit that himself. Like even if to a fault, he was loyal, and I got to give him that.
All it took was one conversation for him to like have someone's back, like consistently.
Mhm.
So, say Copen.
Yep.
What about high maintenance?
Ooh.
Taylor.
I was like, it's gotta be Taylor.
We're eating watermelon in the goddamn villa. This girl spits out the watermelon and goes, what are these black things in the watermelon? I'm like, the seeds? She's like, we don't have seeds in our watermelon down in Miami. I'm like, what?
I was like, it's a watermelon.
Oh, she's
It's a
so
watermelon.
cute. No.
So that was just like the most hilarious conversations with Taylor.
Just to say, like, knowing that she's Corinne Olympio's sister, that doesn't surprise me in any aspect. I just have to say, 'cause
Hilarious.
Corinne is so high
Hilarious.
maintenance, which I love. Who's the
She's
shadiest?
Shadiest. In all love, seriously,
Yeah,
I mean,
love.
in all love, it's got to be Alex, right?
Love Alex. Love shady Alex.
But shady in like what sense?
Yeah, like funny, shady, or like you feel like shady.
Like I can't trust them shady.
I was thinking funny shady, but I didn't acknowledge that there is like another connotation.
Alex
Yeah.
or Elise.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
throw hella shade.
Yeah, I mean, one of
It's
those two.
hilarious.
One of those two.
Okay, yes, that's what I meant. On the other end of that, what about most like conniving? Or plotter, whatever word you want to use.
I mean, I'd say it goes to either Gabe or Tab.
Yeah.
Tab didn't do it well.
Yeah.
Gabe did it quite well.
Conniving, yeah. I think Gabe definitely pulled that off better because Tabitha's got exposed. Because Tabitha ends up getting eliminated anyway. Like it literally comes back to get them. And at least Gabe made it to like the top 4 doing it his way.
It's
Lilise
so-
was pretty conniving though too.
I loved Lilise's game. I was like, Lilise, what is happening right now? And I kind of lived for the messiness. I live for the mess. Like, I love a good mess to watch on
yeah,
television.
Absolutely.
It's good. It makes TV good.
Who was the biggest flirt?
Shay.
Shay.
Whoa, wait. Well, yeah, okay, I'll give it to Shay.
Who was your backup?
What do you think?
Wait, what were you gonna say? Wait, what were you gonna say? Wait,
Well,
who were you gonna say? Just say it.
I was gonna say Shay or Cisco.
Ooh, love.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of flirts on the show. I could go into
There
the
are.
ladies too, but I won't do that.
Don't do it. Do it.
Yeah, we want to know.
No, for sure. I mean, it's subjective though to the person, but I'd say yeah. At the end of the day, I think it was Shay.
It is.
Shay was
It
the
is
biggest
subjective.
flirt.
Okay.
It was Shay,
Yeah.
yeah. It was Shay.
Who was the most talkative? Is that also Shay?
Shay or Taylor? I'd say Taylor was pretty talkative.
Okay.
Taylor's that's who came first for me, was Taylor.
Yeah.
Taylor. Yeah, probably Taylor.
Okay. Who's the funniest? Like, who made you laugh the loudest?
You and Cisco are funny. It's
Cisco
hard. Y'all are
hands
both funny.
down. Me and the stuff that like we would start saying that like all the guys
Y'all's
too.
banter
Me and
was
Cisco would be
hilarious.
me and Cisco would be on the same page when it came to like with humor. We just reference things, and he's so funny. He's like one of those type of people you can't be around for too long because you just laugh way too much. Like, dude, get away! You're killing me right now. We would go up to the stage and we'd try to keep a straight face, and we'd be like, do not show them we're like doing well. Like, we want them to know we're hurting down at camp. Like, make them feel bad for us. And then me and him would get on stage, and then all of a sudden, like, Jessie May would say something stupid or something, and we just fucking start dying. Like, he's the kid in class that you can't sit next to.
Oh my God,
because
yes.
he's gonna laugh. Yeah,
100% Cisco.
I'm dying to talk to Cisco because we didn't get to see like any of him. Like, I would honestly argue that between Justin and Cisco, you two are the ones that we saw the least of. Like, it's like I couldn't tell you what your job was. I couldn't tell you anything about Cisco. Same thing. Maybe Haley. Like Haley laid low intentionally though, so I got to give her props for that. Who spilt the most tea? Like, who's the gossip?
Alex,
right?
Love.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Alex.
Yeah, Alex. When he came up, like, that was truly a moment. Like, that was a real moment that we all had when he came up and told us that about Tabitha. It was like, but he's just good. I mean, I feel like he played his role so well in the show. Like, his game was, I think Alex had a great game.
Me too. Your guys' jaw dropping, I want on a shirt. Like your guys' reactions to finding out about Tabitha, I literally want it on a sweatshirt.
I'll say if I was watching the show back, Alex, like, even if I wasn't on the show, I mean, that changes it like a lot, but Alex would definitely be my favorite character from the show.
Love him.
He was my favorite. Like, initially, like he was the first person I wanted to talk to because there was too many one-liners, like Camp on pause, Alex on play, like just too many
Alex on
things.
play.
Yeah, to not.
Yeah. How about it was like Aaron is super sexy and he's my man crush, but like I'll vote him out or whatever.
I've gotten that sent to me so many times. I got that sent to me like today. It's like so many people have sent that to me and quoted it. I was like, thanks, Alex. You gave me that's a nice moment you gave me.
I also loved that he was like, I just gave Justin this intel and nothing happened from it. Like I was also just dying at his reaction to just kind of getting shut down a little bit on that.
The craziest thing is we went back to camp that night. They made it seem like I was pissed at him. I'm like, bro, I get it. Like, don't worry. Yo, I won't get into too much detail. We like cried in each other's arms that night. It was super sentimental. It was crazy. So I love Alex. That's my guy.
Amazing.
Who had the worst social game? That's my last category. Like, who had the worst, as I said, social game?
Tabitha, right?
Tabitha, yeah.
Yeah, like, that's a... Oh, no, I was just saying, I was just emphasizing. I was like, I can't think of another person.
I thought maybe Haley, just because at the end I was surprised that, like, when they were like, okay, so Haley, you can go here. What alliances do you have? And Haley's like, literally none. Like, I've got nobody. Like, I didn't really make friends. And it's like, well, what the fuck were you doing then? Like, what have you been doing?
Haley skated by, right? We're going to get honest. Haley skated by, and the fact that, like, Alex is like, we were sitting down there like, what the, like, how is this person still up there? You know, I mean, like, that was a lucky game for sure. I mean, but I don't know. Fucking, like, yeah, the whole Shay thing and the Copen thing. I mean, like, kudos to them, but I don't know how the fuck they made it that far.
It's like either luck or she's like very intentional, very smart at picking who she's going to be friends with.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that you guys want to end with? Before we go, I feel like we've given the tea. I've taken up enough of your time. Is there anything that you want to get out there that you want people to know that we didn't see? Any closing thoughts? Anything at all? And you can feel free to say no if I covered it all.
I don't know. If you want us to end with a bang, or like if there's any like well, I'll try to air it out as best as I can.
Do you guys have any bangs to end with? I mean, have we missed anything that we're like clued out of as the viewers? Because we don't know anything except for when it ended. You know, Laylee's and Linda split the money. I know that Tabitha's left the group chat. I know. I mean, is anybody going to go on a show next? Any talk of that? Anything cool? What can you say? That's the other part.
Like stating. No, I was gonna do like a conclusive thing. Like there's a lot of stuff on off the show that happened, but I will say for the vast majority of everyone, like we just recently had a trip, like most of us together. Most of us were there. And like I mean, I love this cast. I do. I do. I'd go name by name, but that'll take too long. But I genuinely love them and we have a couple of like situations that we've talked about and some we probably haven't, but I would say I'm just so glad this was the group of people that I got to like go on my first show with. That's I am happy about that.
Ooh, first show. Hopefully the second show will be The Bachelorette or something cool. Let me know.
I'll let you
Hell
know
yeah.
first if that happens.
Okay.
I will let you know first.
Good. What about for
Yeah,
you?
no, I'd say the same thing.
Okay.
I'd say the same thing. I'll say it. I mean, this first show, I didn't think I'd form the relationships I did. And I didn't think I'd think so strongly about people in both spectrums. Not to say that I hate anyone by any means, but just have strong feelings.
Yeah.
And like Aaron's my brother, like people I'm going to talk to for the rest of my life, like Aaron, Alex, Cisco, like Shay, like all those people. And like obviously too, like it's just like people say like, oh, this is crazy. Like you guys are only together for like, 2 short weeks filming. No, like I formed like crazy deep, relationships with these people. Like SK, I mean, I'll say it to you right now. I'm still like super in love with SK. Like
Oh,
and
yay.
being respectful of her, yeah, no, being respectful of her engagement. I really do like wish the best for SK. Like obviously I'm selfish in the fact that I wish, sometimes things would have went differently between us, but it's a distance thing and we're two different people. But no, infatuated with that girl. Still like, everyone's wonderful, but no, yeah, for sure. Like Aaron, obviously that's my brother for life. So yeah, no, that's where I am right now, and it's crazy. I get like super nostalgic thinking about it to the point where it like kind of hurts my heart.
You get it.
So,
I know you get it. It's like it definitely
Yeah.
makes you emotional.
How long ago was
Yeah.
it for you guys? Like, when was this actually filmed? Like, I know that COVID passed. Like, was this recent? A year ago? Like, what?
May 2022.
Yeah, about a year and a half.
Wow. So you
Yeah.
guys have had a long
Yeah.
time to still
Long
Yeah.
time.
remain in contact. And that's a long time to
Oh.
still have feelings for SK too. So I love that you're wearing your heart on your sleeve. Hopefully, you never know what happens in the future. We can manifest that something good could.
No. She seems like she's with a great dude and someone
Oh,
who's going to
really?
take care
Okay.
of her. And,
Yeah, no
yeah,
shade then.
and that's all that I want. So that's all that I want for her. But
Okay.
yeah,
We'll
no,
get
for
this
sure.
man. We'll
Always,
get this man is soulmate.
always gonna. No matter where I end up, I'm always gonna have a small piece of my heart
You should
dedicated to SK. So
you should go on Love Island, F Boy Island, The Bachelorette, any of those three. I would like to see you on. Any of the above. For both of you, to be honest. So
I know we got to get on something together.
yeah, get on something together and get me
Stay tuned.
Get me on as
Stay
producer.
tuned.
Me and Aaron fighting over one girl. Things get real nasty. I'm like, you know what?
Romance
I actually
breaks.
never liked you. Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't like him then, and I don't like him now.
like you now.
You guys can just put on
Tabitha
the
was right. We should have got you out of here.
I'd actually live for it. Like, I think that everybody would actually. Before we go, I want to remind everyone, follow you guys on socials. So you can find Aaron at It's Aaron Blake on Instagram. Do you have a TikTok?
I do. Same name.
Okay, cool.
It's Aaron Blake.
And then for Justin, it's Justin Asada. Easy to spell. I feel like your name is like a easy, both of you, very easy names to spell and find on social. So follow them, give support, let them know that you watched the show and that you're a fan. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Have a great rest of your
Thank you,
day.
Leah. That was
Thank
wonderful.
you. You've been amazing.